How to get to mastery. You can have a gift or a talent, okay? So some people are just gifted, all right? So Tim Ferriss in his 4-hour work week talks about accomplishing great things within 4 hours. And when he launched the 4-hour cookbook, guess what? Who he had there? He had all of these chefs, 8 chefs that were under the age of like 10 years old, cooking these main courses for his book, 4-hour cookbook. I think that's what it's called. So he had these young, very, very young, talented people cooking these main entrees for his launch party. And the fact is that those people, they are talented. Those young kids, they have a gift. So you can master something, and it helps a lot to master something by having a gift. Do I have a gift? I would have to say, no, I don't have like a gift of cooking. I don't have a gift, even I don't think of teaching, or a gift of sound mixing, for sure not. I don't have a gift of acting. And maybe some of you guys, you're like, I'm not sure if I have a gift either. And so if you do have a gift, if you apply it, you can be a master. But if you're like not sure if you have a gift, you don't have to make that mean like, oh, that doesn't mean that I'm ever going to be a master. Because I think that often anyway, it's your sub-talents that can lead you to become a master anyway. So what you want to do, you guys, is look at what you loved doing when you were, before you had all the pressures on you for college and getting the job and everything. When you were 6 to 18 years old, what were the things that you loved doing? What were the things you were naturally drawn to doing? Could be writing, could be connecting with people, could be playing sports, could be painting, or just letting your imagination flow. The things that you love doing, this will be your clue to what your sub-talents are, because the combination of your sub-talents can actually make you a master. So for me, these are my sub-talents. I love working hard. I love to be consumed with something and think about it over and over and over and figure out the angles. I've always been like that. I've always done what other people won't do. Really. It's like when I did gymnastics, it was like after gymnastic practice, I would go run another 5 miles. Nobody else was doing that, but I would do it. Because I wanted that for myself. I loved working hard. I loved going beyond what normal people would do. It gave me a feeling of like power. I also loved reading. I loved absorbing other ideas. And as I said here, I love figuring out a unique way, my way of doing things. And I also love being part of a team, and I love to be and discuss with other people of how we could all be successful. And I would get goosebumps when we would achieve things together as a team. So I loved the team spirit. So I would say that these are sub-talents, and I'm sure that you have some of these, and you probably have additional ones, like maybe networking or connecting with people or writing, reading, exploring different ideas. So I want you to think about and post and yammer what you believe are your sub-talents. And these are things that you love to do before you had all the pressures of the world on you to make something of yourself. So before you were 18 years old. So take a moment right now and just write down what comes to mind, what you think just some of your sub-talents are that you developed, that you just love, that just come naturally to you. Take a moment and do that. Okay, good job, you guys. It's really fun to kind of explore this, and you probably haven't thought about it for a while. You got an outside view when you did my strengths exercise, which is, I think it's in module 2 or 3, probably 2. But now you're actually looking at it for yourself. And this is really good, because once you kind of discover this, solidify it for yourself, you can use this as your power. Because really, you guys, your subtalents combine to make you like what can really propel you towards being a master. Because mastery, as I say down here in the slide, mastery is connecting the dots of many areas of competence. Gosh, it's so true. It's with all these things that I'm competent at, it's combined to give me a really lucrative career. Almost everything that I do now, I use these talents, and it works. Things work. I mean, it still takes a lot of work, but things work. And things will work for you when you combine your talents like this too. See? And that's exciting. Okay, another thing that's important for mastery, and I want to see what you guys come up with on Yammer, okay? Another thing is gaining experience. Gaining experience is like, this is why we do the get on shoots method. You've got to get experience, because luck favors the prepared and the persistent. You know, the more you do stuff, the more you fail, the more you screw up, the more you learn, the more you try again, and then you keep getting better and better and better, right? And then you have good luck. But as you know, it's not really luck. So if you're a chef, you're going to make 10,000 meals. Think about it, right? A chef, because we tend to think that we're going to have this instant success because we want it so bad. But what we need to realize is that we need to be prepared to get experience, to work our asses off, to figure out our formula. And the only way you figure out your formula is by doing stuff. Like a lot of numbers, like massive quantities of times. So if you're a chef, you don't just become instantly a great chef. You've made probably 10,000 meals, right? You've tried too much salt, a little bit less salt, the effect that eggs has on stuff. I mean, you look at food and it can be so complicated. So why would you think that building a career is going to be less complicated? No, it's going to be a lot of all sorts of different pieces of get it factor and situations that happen, especially in the film industry. Every single day is different. Every single scene is different. Every single thing has its challenges. So experience. So we expect it. We're going to have a lot of experience to become a master at it. And if you're playing poker, millions of hands of poker. Obviously, if you're going to be a master at it, you're going to play millions of hands of poker. If you're going to be a businessman, a businesswoman, you're going to have probably 20 different businesses. That's a lot of businesses. When you think about it, how much time it takes just to create one business and the people involved and the money and everything that's involved. Many of the people that I've met that own a lot of businesses, they have had a lot of businesses and they've failed on a lot of businesses. You always hear this, but have you really internalized it? And I think it's very useful to internalize it so that you know what to expect for yourself, so you get yourself ready for it, so that you don't quit, so that because you realize that no, this is how you become successful. You know, very few people are successful right away. Very few. So some people are having some success right now, you know, and then they're going to go through times where they're like, oh, things are not happening in the Friends in Film program. And at this point, a lot of you guys will say, oh, you know, maybe the program isn't working, or maybe this is too hard. A lot of people will quit. They really will. A lot of people will quit at this point. And it's too bad, and that's why I'm giving you this presentation, because I don't want, do not quit. Expect that you've got to gain experience, and a lot of experience, so that you develop yourself into somebody that will persist and be successful. This is like the good stuff. This is what makes you who you are. This is what's going to make you successful. So in those thousands of repetitions, doing it over and over, getting on set, having all these conversations, you know, you have one conversation with one producer. Do you think that you're going to be a master at it? No, you're going to have 500 conversations with producers, and pretty soon you're going to be very smooth, saying exactly the right thing. You're going to be on lots of sets and watching directors direct actors, and then you're going to know, oh wow, this is the way, this is like a great way that would fit for how I am, what my niche is. Expect that it's that experience, it's that you want to give yourself a lot of experience, and that it's going to take a lot of experience. And expect that you're going to have this, so I have here failure, but expect that you're going to have ups and downs, times where, it just feels like not much is happening. And then you go out and you put yourself in the right mindset and you get more experience. So expect that you're going to have failures and hard times. Expect that your car is going to break down, that your roommate is going to leave, that you're going to have to figure it out, and that it's going to be difficult. But you can just keep going. You keep going. Another element to mastery is loving it. And the reason why it's important to love it is because it really is so much work to get anywhere that you've got to love it. If you look at it as being painful, then you're really not going to do it because you don't want to go through that pain. You've got to really love it. You've got to be excited by it. But here's the thing. If as you're starting this program, you're like, I don't really know if I love it because I haven't done it that much. Here's the thing. You will become passionate about what you're good at. We become passionate about the stuff that we're good at, don't we? If you think about that in your life, Shannon and the writing, she's passionate about it because she's gotten good at it. She gets feedback from it. A lot of you guys have got stuff that you are realizing that you're darn good at. You didn't know you'd like it so much, and so you become obsessed with it and passionate about it. So don't necessarily worry about, do I love this? Just know that if you get involved in it and you're doing it, you're going to stumble into stuff that you really love. So trust that and know that you're going to be passionate about it. Okay, that's good to know, right? Mental fitness. It's so true. On the path to mastery, everything will go wrong. Boy, I've gotten fired. I'd have people hang up on me. I've made mistakes myself that's gotten me fired. I can remember one of the first ones right off the bat. I messed something up on the camera, and it was an interview, and half the interview there was no audio. And I didn't know it, and nobody knew of it until it was all over and everybody left, and I'm driving away or whatever, driving home, and I get the phone call, and somebody's screaming at me. And of course, they never hired me again, and I felt really bad about it. But obviously, I survived. Obviously, I'm still here. So expect that things will go wrong. We've had people that have spilled gasoline cans all over the director's shoes and had to get it cleaned and had to get the car cleaned. AJ is driving a van and misgauged how tall the parking garage ceiling was and ran that truck right into the ceiling. This happens. That happens a lot because you're not used to driving big trucks. But expect that things are going to go wrong, and expect that you're still going to keep going, even if they do go wrong. So how do you build that mindset? Well, one of the ways is to believe that you can be the best against all rational evidence to the contrary. So you got to really believe that you really can do this, that you really are going to have this life that you envision, and that you're really going to do it because there's nothing that's going to stop you. It's got to be like something inside of you. It's like, I'm getting that life. That's how I felt. I'm like, I am getting that National Geographic traveling life. I'm getting it. I just have to. I am getting it. I really believed that I would get it. There was just no way that I wasn't going to get to that life. Like I had to make it happen. And part of it was away from motivation. I did not want any other kind of life. Like I did not want to go back to selling copiers. I did not want to have a mediocre life. I had to have that life. And then a lot of it was towards, I wanted to travel and make money. I wanted to meet those people. I wanted to have those people as friends. That's towards motivation. And I would say that both of them were really strong. I must say both were very strong. And that's okay. One is not necessarily better than the other. Most people are motivated more from away from motivation. When you're motivated from away from motivation, oh, I hate my job right now, so I just need to get a better job, then it may not be as strong as that towards motivation, whereas like I want this life just because I want this life so bad. I just want to be doing this. So realize what it is that's motivating you, getting away from a situation or building the life that you want. But really, you got to believe that you can be the best. And other people will say, oh, that's ridiculous, or that's being naive, or, good luck. And there might be a lot of evidence that, you don't have a gift, maybe. You don't have necessarily the gift. And people think, oh, you've got to be so gifted as an actor to be able to make it, or so gifted as a director. But now you realize that, no, I can have several sub-talents that can combine to make myself a master. And I believe that I can do it, so that's the most important thing. So what do people who achieve tremendous successes from rock bottom all say? What else could I do with my life? I had to keep going. That's how I felt, actually. Maybe you guys have felt this way too. It's sort of like, of course I wasn't going to stop. What else could I do with my life? I have to keep going. I have to figure out a way. I just want to, because I want it so bad. So you just keep going. That's persistence. Let's talk about persistence. Persistence creates luck, right? Doesn't it? Persistence puts you in the right place at the right time because you've worked very hard to get there. So you're not necessarily lucky, you're persistent. Also, persistence gets you experience, doesn't it? So you keep striving for getting on the set, meeting those people, learning. You want to learn, and you're relentless. You keep learning. You keep reading. You keep going to the camera houses. You keep meeting people. You keep going to the organization events. There's a writers group. You go to that. There's an actors meeting. You go to that. It's like you just keep going. And what does this do? This all adds to your experience. You're persistent, which is why you found this program. And now it's going to just blast into a whole bunch of experience because this is also step-by-step and can-do type of program. But yeah, it's your persistence that got you here. So it's cool. Persistence gets you experience. Persistence is a sentence of failures, okay? Think of a sentence. Failure, 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 failure. Punctuated by the briefest of successes, and eventually the success will start to propel you towards mastery. It's true. It's like you try, and you don't necessarily see things moving right away. Like the first month of this program, it's like, okay, I see other people that are doing well, and when am I going to get there? And they're doing stuff, and I don't know. And so you don't feel like, whew, I'm moving. But then you start to move, and it's because you're persistent. It's not that you've been failing. It's just that sometimes it just takes, you got to get that basis. And I want you to get that basis. And then you go up fast from there. But you have to expect hard times. You have to expect, I guess, failures or stumbling is what I would prefer to call it. And then eventually that stumbling is going to propel you towards mastery, because if you're stumbling, that means you've got the courage to try it, which means you've got the courage to fail, which means that you will keep learning. If you don't try it, you won't keep learning. If you don't go and just like walk up to people and shake their hand, then you will never develop that skill of being able to do that. And so it's your persistence. You will not stop. So how can you keep persisting when life is filled with changing careers, relationships, economic crashes, so many things that get into your way? How can you keep persisting, right? It's hard, isn't it? There is no answer. And that's why it's called persistence. So true. And it can be painful. It can be brutal. It can be, there are times when it is no fun. You're sitting in your room looking at all the stuff you want, and you've got pain because you're not there yet. But you're doing things that are inching you forward, and you may not see the payoffs quite yet, and at the same time you're hungry because you don't have that much money and you're scared. So there's a lot of pain in persisting forward and doing it anyway. And also, you've got a lot of people saying, why are you doing that? Why, are you sure that this is really worth it? Are you sure that you shouldn't be doing something else? Nobody understands why you're persisting forward towards your dreams. But when you do achieve success, people will act as if, well, of course that happened to you. Of course, And they'll want to know, hey, what are you going to do next? Because they want to be where you're at. They want to get the secret that you have, because obviously, all of a sudden you stumbled into something that worked. Wow, how'd you do that? So, and they're asking you because they want to do it too. They're like, hey, well, what's your next move? Because they want to do what you did, but that there's really no next move that you can tell them. You only know what is your next move, because what it took you to get there was those series of stumbling and pushing forward and learning and doubting yourself, and then doing it anyway, and being scared and doing it anyway, and then doing work and having things go wrong, doing shit work sometimes, making mistakes, but keep going forward. So that it's all of that got you to where you are at this moment. And it seems like so easy, like, oh, of course. I remember when I came out here to Los Angeles, everybody's like, oh yeah, of course you were able to do that. But that's not what they were saying before. And it does look so easy, but what it takes to get there. So I want you to expect that it's going to be like this. And when you expect it, then it's like, okay, I'm up for it. That's okay. I want to grow. I want to be that person anyway. The most important thing is the most important thing is that you choose yourself and how you treat yourself. You want to love yourself in this process. You want to understand that, this is your journey, and, treat yourself well. Make sure you eat well, get good sleep. It's sort of like you want to realize that this is your big present. Your life is your big present. So treat yourself well as you go towards your big present. Because you can look at this as being like, oh God, it'd be like a struggle. Like, this is a big thing that I gotta do, otherwise my life won't mean anything and I'll be mediocre. And I felt like that, okay? Or you can be like, as you hug yourself, you're saying, this is, there's a lot that I want to do with my life, and I do want to be a master. And as I work on getting the knowledge that I need to get in order to become a master, this is just all a wonderful thing. And I'm giving this to myself. And every time I do something that I'm scared of, I'm giving to myself. And I'm building myself. And I love myself. So how you treat yourself is very important. And it also really affects your success, because if you can do it while you're loving yourself, other people will just see that, and the whole energy will be that way. Versus, I've got to do this because if I don't, I'm not worth anything. No, you've got to do it because that's how you roll. It's what you want to learn, and it's who you're developing into. It's the skills that you're mastering are all becoming a part of you. So treat yourself well. Also, how you treat other people. The team mentality is very important, because the film industry is just this big team, and it can seem like, especially when you watch the movies and stuff like that, they always portray it totally how it is not in most circumstances, like cutthroat. No, how you treat other people means tuning into them, understanding what's important to them, and caring about them and loving them truly. That's the most important thing, because then you respect yourself, but then that's also coincidentally how you move the fastest, is how you treat other people. You don't realize that they're not really watching you, but they notice how you are. They notice how you treat other people by the way that you carry yourself. The look in your eye, the smile on your face. You know, it can be closed down if you're so used to protecting yourself and not thinking about others, or it can be open and giving and smiling. I just worked with a craft service gal, and she's really good. I would say she is a master. However, it's so funny how everybody will say, she seems like she just doesn't like people. She is so closed down. Like, she just seems like she doesn't like you. Even like me. She seems like she doesn't, but then she does like you, and so she comes up and she gave me like a big hug. I just worked with her. So like she's cooking her, doing breakfast, and she's a master. And she's got all of the herbs, and she's got all the fresh bundles of herbs and the greens, like really good stuff. And she's got her mushrooms, and she's got everything, like the best of everything. And she cooks everything. It takes a long time because she cooks things slowly. And then if you say that you want to add cheese too late, and she knows that the cheese is not going to be done enough, she gets like this bad look on her face. She's always getting scowling looks on her face. Oh, and when I ordered my what I wanted, I pointed, oh, mushrooms, and my finger was like 2 inches from the mushrooms. She's like, I know what the mushrooms are. Don't get your hands too close to the ingredients. And I was like, oh yeah, sure. Now, a lot of people were like getting pissed at her because of that. But I just realized, or I know, you know, it's good that she doesn't want people's hands and faces over the food. But you know, it's kind of, if she could say it in a way where she loves herself and treats other people great, then she would truly become like a master. So, yeah, she makes everybody feel like they're kind of inconveniencing her, and she's just very unhappy. But anyway, so she's not treating herself well, and she's not treating other people well. And that will affect how well you're able to do in your career, because it's just like, wham, as soon as you meet somebody like that, that's the feeling that you get. Interesting. How you treat your efforts and your loves. Yeah, I guess that says it all. The most important thing is how you treat what you're doing and the things that you love to do. So, really, nothing is more important than these things here. Because as you rush to get to the mythical there, that someday where you feel like you got the Oscar, you got the directing award, or you're making the money, or you're living in this certain mansion, one day you'll arrive and you'll realize, if you didn't think about how you're loving yourself, treating other people, and treating your efforts and the things that you love, if you didn't think about this, you're going to realize you missed so much. And this is so true, because look around, I see it all the time, and you probably do too. I work with directors that are kind of miserable. No, they haven't realized this, how they treat themselves and other people. You know, when they're miserable, how are they treating themselves, right? I mean, if they treat themselves in a really good way, and they tell themselves good things about themselves, they wouldn't be miserable, right? So, but they're so driven that they just never were exposed to this information. And could they be more successful and also be more happy if they were exposed to it? I think so. Definitely. So you're learning this from the start. So that is awesome. Okay, so in my opinion, the real secrets are what we just said, but also being okay with uncertainty, knowing that this whole thing is about growth and learning, really, and that if you're learning and you're growing, then you're always going to be in this realm of uncertainty. You're always going to know. You're not going to know what's going to happen. You're not going to know how it's going to go. You're going to be afraid like 90% of the time, or at least you're going to be being uncomfortable, but knowing that you're going to be okay. Okay? So you're okay with certainty. You're constantly going towards growth, and that turns you on. And you're constantly loving and connecting with people. That's huge, because when you're trying to be significant all the time and show people who you are, nobody cares. But when you actually kind of forget about yourself and just connect with somebody and really listen to what they're saying, then you're loving them and you are connecting. And they will find the best things in you in that moment. Not the stuff you say about yourself, but they will find and determine for themselves the best things about you by you being quiet within yourself and just listening to them. Contribution is huge when you realize that it's not so much that you don't have to work so hard to get the things that you want to get, that you just need to contribute and be a master at whatever you're doing. I mean, that's at the forefront of your mind, and you're a master at it because you're contributing to the projects, the goals, the career, whatever it is that you're doing, you're contributing to others. If you're working for a producer, you're contributing to their career. That's what's on your mind. It's not, how am I going to get this? You're contributing, hey, what do they need? What's the best for them? How can I do this the fastest way, but also the best way? Where do they need to look good? How do they want to feel right now? Maybe I can help them feel that way. What do they need to, maybe they need to have a conversation with me so I can listen to them so that they can actually be their best selves, contributing to people. It's a different way of thinking. We're so used to thinking about, how can I get something? Where really all the keys are right here. This really will make you fly in your career. So, in summary, expect that there's going to be ups and downs, and that's part of growth. That's part of becoming a master. Many people fail so many times to get to where they want to be, and they expect it. The main thing is that you got to expect it. So you should expect it too. And fortunately, our failures going into the film industry they're not like losing all of our money. It's more like we just can get disappointed. We can just start to find that we procrastinate. It's more like our fears creep up and stop us from going full force. We are confronted and we don't do something, like maybe go and meet somebody that we really wanted to meet, or we don't call up people or whatever. So we just slow down. And that's okay, because you can slow down, but once you just start back up again, then that's what counts. So don't expect to be perfect, and love yourself and be gentle with yourself. So then you just keep moving. Okay.